Pay close attention. There is a terrifying secret your subconscious mind is hiding from you right now. A hidden program that forces you to fall into the exact same predictable trap every single time you try to attract a woman you desire. Have you ever noticed how, just when you think you're doing everything perfectly, a sudden cold wave of boredom creeps into the conversation? The energy dies, the responses get shorter, you become invisible. Today, you are not just about to discover a raw, unconventional method to attract any woman. And when I use the word raw, I don't mean unethical or manipulative. I mean it completely defies everything society programmed into your brain since childhood about how to win women over. It's like playing Grandmaster chess while everyone else is still playing checkers. You are about to master primal psychological shifts that no one sees coming. Let's be brutally honest with each other. Do you know that suffocating feeling of frustration when you see the woman of your dreams talking passionately to another man while you stand on the sidelines like an invisible ghost? That killing sensation that you are always destined to be the nice guy, the safe platonic shoulder she cries on after being mistreated by a toxic man. That psychological nightmare ends today. If you are thoroughly exhausted from being an afterthought, a backup plan, or a ghost in her world, the next few minutes will completely dismantle your old way of thinking. What I am about to reveal is a dark behavioral blueprint mastered by less than 3% of men on this planet. It is incredibly rare to find someone with the raw courage to apply it. But before we cross the point of no return, I need one commitment from you. If you are serious about entering this elite circle, and if you are truly ready to shatter the chains of the friend zone forever, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. This isn't a routine click. It is a conscious signal to yourself that you are ready for the cold truth and that you are worthy of the secrets I am about to unveil. Let's lay the cards on the table.
Chances are you've tried all the conventional advice. You bought the expensive colognes, tried to impress her with grand gestures, and became the ultra-attentive guy who replies to text messages within the exact same second. And where did that cliché path lead you? Straight to the graveyard of attraction, the friend zone. The shocking truth is that you have been socially engineered to fail. Hollywood romantic movies, novels, and superficial modern advice have paved a direct highway to rejection. They told you to be infinitely nice, completely available, and entirely predictable at all times. Don't misunderstand me. These are noble human traits, but on their own, they do not create a single atom of raw, undeniable emotional attraction. This brings us to a critical philosophical question. What actually ignites genuine attraction deep within the female psyche? Do you truly know what triggers her deepest desire? It is psychological tension, magnetic mystery, and a precisely calculated element of unpredictability. Think about it deeply. Why does that one guy who isn't even exceptionally handsome manage to command the attention of every room he walks into? Because he carries an aura of unshakable self-reliance and mystery. He understands a universal law of human nature that you haven't fully absorbed yet. Attraction does not happen through logic, persuasion, or intellectual agreement. It happens through primal instinct in the unconscious mind. It is a purely biological game that dates back to the dawn of human evolution. Do you honestly believe women consciously and rationally calculate who they feel attracted to? Absolutely not. Their primal brain makes that decision in a fraction of a millisecond. And that ancient part of the brain doesn't care about standard compliments or expensive dinners. It looks desperately for signals of high self-worth, social dominance, and the innate capacity to lead. Now, before you assume I'm telling you to become arrogant or abrasive, breathe for a moment. This has nothing to do with rudeness. It is about understanding the complex psychological dance between minds and behavior. It's about activating the correct evolutionary triggers at the critical moment. After years of studying behavioral and dark psychology, what I discovered completely contradicts everything fake relationship gurus preach.
So, what is the real secret behind deep female desire? Are you ready for the shock? Women are never truly drawn to the man who is perpetually available. They instinctively chase the man who possesses options, a man who commands his own complete, fulfilling world. It is a profound psychological paradox. The less emotionally dependent you are on her validation, the higher her innate desire to pull closer to you becomes. But how do you project this delicate balance naturally, without looking forced or artificial? How do you create that magnetic aura of detached focus? This is where the Momo psychological system comes into play, a blueprint built on 4 foundational pillars that will transform you from a man begging for attention into a human magnet of absolute attraction. Listen carefully, because every word from this point forward is pure gold for your self-awareness. You must initiate each interaction in an unexpected way that triggers her curiosity so intensely it forces her to reorganize her thoughts. Completely eliminate generic phrases like, "Hey, how are you?" That is entirely predictable and instantly screened out by her defensive routine. You need to create a moment that shatters the mundane script of her day. Imagine approaching with calm, grounded confidence and saying naturally, "Your face tells me you absolutely despise Mondays, but you probably use dark chocolate as your secret weapon to survive them." Suddenly, without warning, you've opened a massive curiosity loop in her mind. She instantly wants to know how you read her so effortlessly. You have separated yourself from the ocean of men who use the exact same worn-out lines. This opening move is your first strategic placement on the chessboard. If you start from a position of seeking approval, you have to work twice as hard to balance the scales. But if you start with high value and mystery, she enters your world and navigates on your terms. Does that make practical sense to you? Pause right here. Look back at your past failures. Every single time you were pushed aside, it wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was because you were entirely too predictable. The human brain completely shuts off when it encounters a script it has read 1,000 times. If you don't break the pattern now, you will remain trapped in the silent rejection forever. Now let's unlock the second pillar, where the true weight of your presence is forged.
This is where the grand secret of unshakable confidence resides. You must cultivate an internal posture built on sharp self-respect and positive detachment. This is not arrogance, it is knowing your absolute worth as a rare asset and never fearing the loss of anyone who doesn't see it. Think of this market analogy. When you go to buy a vehicle and the salesman is desperate, following you around and begging for the deal, you instantly sense his neediness. It gives you all the psychological power and makes you deeply question the actual value of what he's selling. But when the seller is calm, composed, and completely unconcerned with whether you buy or leave, you automatically assume the asset is highly valuable and that you need to earn the opportunity. This is the exact same emotional currency in attraction. When your actions and body language prove that your life is remarkably fulfilling with or without her presence, you become the prize to be pursued, not the emotional beggar. Your body language must radiate absolute composure, aligned posture, deep unbroken eye contact, a measured speaking pace, and deliberate movements completely devoid of nervous tension. Studies show that over 80% of human communication is entirely non-verbal. Your body speaks infinitely louder than your words. If your posture screams, "I need your approval," her instincts pick up those frequencies instantly, and her attraction dies on the spot. This is the ultimate art of non-neediness, creating a vast psychological space that compels her to initiate the pursuit. You must learn how to step backward at the absolute peak of engagement. Picture this. You are in the middle of a highly stimulating, fascinating conversation with her. Everything is flowing flawlessly. This is the exact golden moment where most men overstay their welcome. Instead, this is when you must elegantly withdraw. Calmly state that you have a pressing priority to attend to and depart, leaving her in a state of intense anticipation for more. It operates exactly like a premium cliffhanger in a prestige drama series. The episode always cuts to black at the most intense, shocking moment. And what do? You become instantly obsessed with watching the next episode. You must be that gripping episode that ends at the peak, not the exhausting 3-hour movie that leaves everyone drained. This means not replying to texts with lightning speed, not being infinitely accessible, and maintaining a real life anchored by your own heavy purpose. When her mind registers that you aren't sitting around waiting for her signal, a profound shift occurs in her cognitive chemistry. Her internal radar activates fully, and questions begin to dominate her thoughts. What is he doing right now? Who is he with? Why hasn't he reached out? At that exact threshold, my friend, the psychological dynamic flips completely. She becomes the one investing mental and emotional energy into the interaction.
The unwavering ability to take immediate initiative and escalate the interaction when the timing is right, without a single shred of hesitation or fear. This is the moment of truth where the vast majority of men fail catastrophically. You have built the attraction, created the necessary tension, and now it is time for decisive movement. Right here, the old monster rears its head, fear of rejection. But let me let you in on a profound reality of female psychology. Women naturally expect and desire a man with the courage to take the lead. They respect a man who knows exactly what he wants and isn't terrified of pursuing his objectives. Hesitation and passivity kill attraction 1,000,000 times faster than an outright rejection ever will. When you read the correct nonverbal green lights, move with calm authority. Do not ask for redundant verbal permission with phrases like, "Is it okay if I do this?" Instead, interpret the signs and step forward. This can be a confident, grounded touch on her hand during a breakthrough in conversation, steering her smoothly through a chaotic crowd, or holding that deep, silent gaze right before an emotional shift where words stop and presence takes over. Calculated decisiveness is the border separating mature masculinity from anxious hesitation. It is what stamps your presence into her memory long after you are gone. Now, I can hear that quiet, hesitant voice in the back of your mind asking, isn't this a form of psychological manipulation? Let's completely sterilize that misconception once and for all. True malicious manipulation occurs when you lie, deceive, or coerce someone into doing something harmful against their values.
What I am embedding into your consciousness right now is the exact opposite. It is about becoming profoundly aligned with your natural masculine core. It is about understanding human behavioral psychology and acting with high awareness.
Think about it rationally. When a woman spends hours in front of a mirror, applying precise makeup, selecting an outfit that highlights her aesthetics, and choosing a fragrance that commands attention, do we label her a deceptive manipulator? Of course not. She is simply presenting the absolute highest, most magnetic version of herself to the world. She is utilizing legitimate biological and social tools to maximize her impact. That is precisely what you are doing right now. You are deploying advanced behavioral tools to awaken a buried, genuine attraction. It's not about deceiving anyone, it's about dusting off your latent charisma and stepping into your power. And let me tell you a closely guarded truth. Women deeply desire to be swept into an interaction by a man who is entirely certain of his steps, not an anxious, hesitant man who is terrified of his own shadow or the word no. They want to experience that rapid heartbeat, that exquisite tension in the air, and that elegant game of mutual glances. When you master this code, you automatically become that rare, memorable individual. Remember the chess metaphor we started with. Every interaction, every conversation, every look is a complex strategic matrix. While 97% of men play from a position of defense and absolute terror of rejection, you will be operating 3 steps ahead in pure awareness. You now hold a massive competitive advantage in the landscape of human dynamics. But remember, knowledge without execution is merely stagnant potential. Action is the only force that moves mountains. Step out of your fortress of hesitation and start playing the game. The board is set. The pieces are in position. The only question echoing in the depths of your soul right now is, will you step up and play with everything you have to win, or will you remain frozen in the stands, watching others take what you rightfully deserve? The tools are entirely yours. Use them with wisdom, responsibility, and unshakable power. Regret for the shots you never took is a weight that outlasts any temporary rejection. Master the code, flip the script, and change the rules of the game for good.